Yo, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on, good people? Peace and love. Peace and love, peace and love. Welcome to another episode of SR Daily. I'm your boy, your host, LaShawn Sugar Marston, and you were tuned into episode 505, episode 505 of SR Daily. Back again. Happy, tenacious, and truthful Tuesday. It seems like the camera got a little smaller. The camera changed on me. Let me see something. Yeah, the camera changed on me. The camera changed on your boy. That's if we got other people. We don't got nobody else in here. Yeah, the camera changed on me. But yo, what's going on? What's going on? Peace and love, peace and love, peace and love, everybody. What's the deal? I got a little hole. This is an old vest. But I'm gonna keep this vest as long as I can keep it, probably forever. It is my uncle's vest, my uncle Blake, who passed away, right? Passed it down. So honoring him. Being sharp, being fresh. Today is also a beautiful day, a special day, a powerful day. November 25th, it is my daughter's birthday, and we're going to talk about it through the whole show. Peace and love, peace and love. I got to get something to block that light back there. That light comes in, I don't like it. Rich Pels, what's going on, my brother? Peace and love, top of the morning. Happy Tuesday, happy Tenacious and Truthful Tuesday. Yo, family. Yeah, I don't know, the camera changed crazy. Don't know why it changed like that, but we're going to roll with it. We are going to roll with it. Tall. No, that's comments. Okay, we're gonna leave that like that. Yeah, I don't know. The camera changed a bit. Don't know why the camera changed. Let's see. We got yes. We're gonna use that camera. Yes. Virtual back. Nope, no virtual background. Give me 1 second, guys. Camera. Yeah, it's the same. It's all good. It's all good. Yeah, no, we're not doing that. All right, it is what it is. Such is life. We just keep going, keep rolling with it. I pressed something and it changed the camera because it was a little wider before it caught like my whole face when I was this close. Um, but yeah, man, what's going on? It's my daughter's birthday. We're gonna jump right into the show. Let me hit the share button real quick though. Let me share this joint with a couple of people here on the IG. All right, if you can, please do share this live with 5 to 10 of your people. Share this live with 5 to 10 of your peoples. Tell them tune into SR Daily, where personality meets enlightenment is always a good topic. It's always a good show with some great topics. All right. And we are here. It is Tuesday morning, 9:03 a.m. We're gonna get the show started because we got a lot to talk about today. We got a lot to chat about today. So we're gonna get to it. Give me 1 more second and we're gonna get this thing started right. A few more. I'm hit 1 more, 2 more, 3 more, 4 more, 5 more, 6 more, and we are good to go. So we shared that right there. If you can, if you're on Facebook, if you're on YouTube, please share it with 5 to 10 of your people who may be interested in tuning in. Once again, guys, I'm your boy, your host, LaShawn Sugar Marston. You were tuned into SR Daily, with personality meets enlightenment. It is Tuesday, November 25th, 2025, 11:25. And it's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day to have a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day to have a beautiful day. Today is, we're going to get right to it. First segment of the day. First segment is a quote of the day. And today's quote comes from my greatest work, my book, Dear Usha, book I wrote to my daughter, 2017. It is a quote from the very first. So it's a collection of letters, poems, and stories. And this is a quote from the first letter, right? The first letter, which is called My Greatest Message. This is my greatest message to my daughter. This is the first thing I wanted her to read. First thing I wanted you guys to read when they opened this book. This is my greatest message to my daughter. I'm not going to read the whole thing. It is a quote. It's a long quote, but it's fire. And it just speaks to, we're going to get into the rest of the show because this shit is divine. Like what's going on right now with my children and I, what's going on. Yeah, this shit is divine. So the quote says, because of who you are and all that went into your being, not only do you have a great responsibility to yourself, but you have a great responsibility to the entire universe. This will seem overwhelming. I'm certain it will. However, I assure you that so long as you always remember who and what you are, you will handle every challenge and obstacle gracefully, because in essence, it is you presenting the challenges and obstacles to yourself. I need you to understand that in life, things will not necessarily happen to you, but they will happen for you. They will happen for your growth enlightenment, and ultimate elevation. Because of the great responsibility you have, there are certain lessons you must learn and certain messages you must receive that can only be gathered through physical, mental, and emotional experience. Fret not. For every challenge that arises and for every obstacle you face, you will have everything you need to rise above and overcome. If nothing else I say sticks, I need you to fully comprehend this message. You are God in the flesh. You are a physical manifestation of the divine, of the grand universe, of the great spirit. Whoa. And there's more. There's more in that passage. That book, listen, this book right here, humbly, respectfully, this is one of the greatest things ever written. Like, not just from a father to a daughter, but like in our generation and like in human history, this is one of the greatest things ever written right here. Like this book here, Dear Usha, messages to my firstborn. If you want a copy, you could definitely hit me up. I'll definitely get you a signed copy. This is fucking incredible fucking book, man. We're gonna read that quote one more time. Because of who you are and all that went into your being, not only do you have a great responsibility to yourself, but you have a great responsibility to the entire universe. This will seem overwhelming. I'm certain it will. However, I assure you that so long as you always remember who and what you are, you will handle every challenge and obstacle gracefully, because in essence, it is you presenting the challenges and obstacles to yourself. I need you to understand that in life, things will not necessarily happen to you, but they will happen for you. They will happen for your growth, enlightenment, and ultimate elevation. Because of the great responsibility you have, there are certain lessons you must learn and certain messages you must receive that can only be gathered through physical, mental, and emotional experience. Fret not. For every challenge that arises and for every obstacle you face, you will have everything you need to rise above and overcome. If nothing else I say sticks, I need you to fully comprehend this message. You are God in the flesh. You are a physical manifestation of the divine, of the grand universe, of the great spirit. Ashe. That is that's the quote of the day, and that is a passage from Dear Usha, my book. Shout out to Judy Vision. Judy Vision took these photos. He took this photo here. He took that photo there. And what's crazy is that we was in Queensbridge Park. We were just hanging out. Him, myself, my daughter. I think my son might not have been with us. He might have been with his mother. And it wasn't like a photo shoot. We were just hanging out. We were just chatting. He was talking about some things going on in his life with his brother specifically. I was talking about things going on with, in my life, my daughter, my children, right? My ex-wife and I had already split at this time, right? By the time we took these photos, which was before I wrote the book, we took these photos. I want to say it was nice out. So maybe not too long. No, we took these photos. Yeah, I can't remember. But yeah, anyway, we took these photos not too long before the book was published, right? But it was nice because I had a t-shirt on. She had a t-shirt on. So yeah, it might have been in June, May, maybe, something like that. It was a real nice day though. But the book was published. I think I started writing the book after that. All right, and I wrote the book in like a month. But yeah, shout out to Judy Vision, I keep saying royalty, Royal V, what's going on, peace and love. But yeah, that's the quote of the day, man. From the passage in that book, my greatest message. That is part of my greatest message to my daughter. And I pulled that specific passage, right? That piece, because it speaks to now, right? Like great responsibility, right? Like you're gonna go through things, challenges are gonna come, obstacles are going to arise, but you have everything inside of you. Like we say that, but how much I think about me when I was younger, if I would have known that I had everything inside of me to overcome without all of the challenges of losing my dad at 11, of the tough relationship with my mom, right? Of seeing people get killed, of my cousin dying when I'm 12, right? A freak car accident, all right? Car crash. If I would have known like that I had everything inside of me and that it was all part of my elevation, then I like to think that the way I handled them, I would have handled them with grace. I would have handled them a little bit differently than feeling like the world was caving in on me, than feeling like this was the end of it, than feeling like I can't go on, right? And not wanting to go on because I knew that this is part of the process, right? This is part of the process. This is part of the journey. But let's move right along though, to our second segment of the day. Peace and love, brother Sefu. Mona, I see you. Happy Usha Day. Happy Papa Day. Thank you so much. Yes, Usha's birthday. She's 9 today. Usha is 9. Day I became a dad, right? Even though I was a dad, like conception, I was there. singing to her and there for her mother and all of the stuff, right? Second segment, needs to know news of the day. That's it. Today is my beloved daughter, Usha Rain Marston's 9th birthday. Usha is 9 today. Usha is 9 years old. Last couple of weeks through our Zoom calls, right? I haven't seen him in a couple of months, but through our Zoom calls, I've been, telling her, we've been talking about the power of 9 and how powerful this year is. And she is extremely excited to turn 9, to be 9. All right. And I was giving her some wisdom on like what this year means for her and what it could mean for her, as long as she, does what she's been doing, does what she's supposed to do, is take some deep introspection. All right. But yeah, man, 9 years since I became a dad, right? Longer than that, really. Which means it's also her mother's birthday, right? It's her mother's 9th birthday, right? Last week in our call, Usha said it's actually her mother's birthday, right? She came to that conclusion. She was like, since it's the day that her mom gave birth to her, and it's her 9th born day, right? She says her mother's birthday, but her born day. And then I gave her the concept of birth, right? Be Earth Day, right? The day that she came to Earth. And so that was a beautiful discussion. This girl is so wise. This girl is wise beyond her years to even have that concept of, her mother's birth, right? The day her mother gave birth to her, but the day she was born. I'm honored to be her dad. Like truly, this girl is extremely special. But yeah, 9 years, man. 9 years. What a journey. I remember there was a time when I thought I wouldn't become a dad, right? I mean, I knew I could create children because I've created 9 before Usha, which I also wrote about in the book, my Divine 9, right? My Divine 9 or my Sacred 9. I think I called it my Divine 9. Because I created 9 children before Usha came, right? 3 sets of twins, all right? 3 sets of twins were created. 3 different points in my life, 3 different women. 2 sets of twins were aborted. When I was 19, my girlfriend at the time aborted a set of twins. When I was 22, 23, when I came out of prison, 23, my girlfriend at the time aborted a set of twins. And then at 24, 25, 27, 2011, 27, my girlfriend at the time miscarried a set of twins. There was also 1 single abortion at 20. Girlfriend at the time had an abortion, and then my ex-wife and I had 2 miscarriages the first year of our marriage. Right, I had 2 miscarriages the first year of our marriage. Yeah, but Usha, man, that sacred child, that child born from a sacred union, she endured an extremely challenging pregnancy, and she came here, man. She made it, right? She made it. The pregnancy was challenging. Her mom had fell a couple of times on her stomach. It was a tough pregnancy, man. But Usha made it. Usha made it, and it's been a freaking journey ever since. All right. One thing I always say is that since Usha could talk, she stated with conviction, with 100% conviction, that she came from a planet called Sanic. She remembers being born. She remembers being in her mother's womb. She remembers being in a dark place that was kind of wet, and she could hear sounds in the distance. She remembers going through like a tunnel, right? Going through a tunnel and lights and it being fast, and then like it being bright, and then she was crying. She remembers that. She's spoken about that. She's talked about that. Yeah, truly a special child. And again, I'm extremely grateful to be her father. Usha is creative. Usha is intelligent. Usha is witty, crafty, funny, loving, nurturing, and so much more. Usha has extravagant, lofty dreams, right? And she believes that she can and will accomplish them all. And I freaking love that. She said she's going to live to be, I think, 200 years old, right? And I love that, right? Because I mean, if there was just the oldest living person from, I think what it was, the Tulsa, I think that was the sister. She just transitioned, I think, yesterday, a few days ago. 111. If someone could live to be 111, that means someone could live to be 120. If someone could live to be 120, that means someone could live to be 140, and so on and so forth, right? There's stories, folklore, or whatever you want to call it, of people living to be 350 years old, right? I think they said Enoch was 350 or something like that, right? Like, or maybe even older, 950, something like that. I like to think that there are times when, just like there were times like, and we still see remnants of it, of giants, right? Of people who are 8 feet, 9 feet, 10 feet tall. There are people 7'7", 7'8". If you could be 7'8", you could be 8 feet. You could be 8 feet, you could be 9 feet. Why not, right? So if you could live to be 111, why can't you live to be 120? Why can't you live to be 200, right? So Usha, again, with this mindset like that she has, is freaking incredible. And I never steer her different. I never like, no, Usha, you can't. People don't live that long. You want to be 200? Do that shit. Right, do the things you need to do in your spirit, right, that you believe that you need to do to lead you to that benchmark, to that 200 years, right? Usha is phenomenal, man. I am, like I said, beyond grateful to be her dad, to call her my daughter, right, to have co-created her with her mother, to be raising her, in spite of all of the freaking challenges, which I'm gonna get into, man. You gotta be careful what you ask for. You gotta be freaking careful what you ask for, because you just might get it. And that's going into our third segment of the day. Today's third segment, as always, is a tip of the day. And today's tip is just that: be careful what you ask for, because you just might get it, and you don't control how it comes. So be mindful of the thoughts you have and of the words that you speak. Every single thing manifests itself, but not always in the way that you envision it. So before I was even married, I knew that when I created a child, I want my child, number one, to be a girl. I want my first child to be a daughter, right? If I only have one, I want it to be a girl. That's what I wanted. And I knew that she would be one of the greatest humans to ever live, because I know me, right? I said I wanted to be one of the greatest humans to ever live. Now that goal has evolved to be the greatest. Usha, I said I want her to be one of the greatest humans to ever live. And as we now come to know and to fully understand, and understand, in order to become one of the greatest humans, you have to endure and overcome some of the greatest challenges. And Usha has been enduring and overcoming challenges since before she was born. I told you, like, her mother falling, hitting her stomach on the edge of a metal bed frame. And the thought is scary, right? Usha, at very young, a year, a little more than a year, a little less than a year. I don't remember exactly when. I want to say 2017 sometime. I want to say probably less than a year, like 2017, like September, October. So yeah, less than a year. She had a febrile seizure, right? Seizure has nothing to do with, neurology. Just fever spiked too fast, and rush her to the hospital. She's in the carrier, we're in the Uber, right? She's in the car seat, we're in the Uber, and she just has a fever. And the moment we get to the hospital, we get to New York Presbyterian. The moment we get out of the Uber and we go in and we get into the waiting area, she starts to see, foam start coming out her mouth. And I'm so freaking scared. And they're pulling her clothes off, and they're hooking her up to these machines. And I'm nervous, and I'm afraid, like my daughter, like, and it's in the room. Again, I'm very aware, very conscious. We're in the room with the big clock where they have, where, people die, where they stamp the time of death. And like my daughter, foam is coming out her mouth, her eyes are rolling in the back of her head. And I'm there, I'm trying to hold her, and I'm trying to talk to her. Her mother then grabs me and says, she needs you to be calm so that she could be calm. She needs you to be calm so that she could be calm. And then I calm down. And I breathe, and I look at my daughter, and I just communicate silently to her. Usha, breathe. Usha, you are well. Usha, you will be fine. Usha, you are stronger than this. And, she was perfectly fine, and she hasn't had a febrile seizure since. But yeah, that girl has been going through so much. She's been enduring so much. 18 months without seeing her dad, right? 18-month absence. For all of the fucking reasons that none of them really make sense. Not my reasoning doesn't make sense to some, right? Some other, their reasoning doesn't make sense to me, to some, right? So in some strange way, I spoke this shit, right? I spoke this shit because Usha's mother and I had spoken years ago, before Usha was born, right? And as Usha was young, we spoke about the life that we wanted, which included traveling and doing, deep humanitarian work that at sometimes could lead to me being on a mission in another country, going months, a year or two even, without seeing my children, simply communicating via phone, letters, pictures, video. I spoke this shit. I said it. I knew that the life that I lived, the life that I envisioned, at some point, it will come to a point, at some time will come to a point where I will have to be in another country. I will have to be in another continent. I will be on a mission that I will go a year or so without physically seeing them. Right? Again, the pictures, the video, again, I didn't imagine it would be now. Right? It would be like later when they're older. All right. Right. They will be doing something. Time just, and eventually, right? Phone, letters, video. But I spoke this shit, man. So like, be careful what you ask for, because you just might get it. Both, right? Her being one of the greatest people to ever live, you have to then go through some of the greatest challenges, and then me saying that at some point in this life, in this relationship, like, I'm going to be away from them for a while because of work. And so this wasn't a choice. Right now, not seeing them is not my choice. All right, haven't seen my children physically in 2 months. Not my choice. Right, not a personal decision that I'm making. I'm saying I don't want to see them. I'm not seeing them. I'm busy. I want to see them. They want to see me. Just other entities not making that so, not allowing that to be. And so it's challenging, and I'm figuring it out. But let's move right along to the build of the day. The build of the day. Today's build is everything seen, everything material comes from the unseen and immaterial world. And so every single thing that happens in this physical world has emerged from some part of the invisible spiritual ancestral realm. These are facts. No thing that exists in the physical realm came to be from this realm alone. No, that's not how this thing works. And so yes, regardless of how much one may want to be against this idea, all right, regardless of how much you want to be against this idea, understand that every situation that we experience, regardless of how painful and uncomfortable and unjust it may be, came from the spirit realm. And if we are to at any point say God is perfect, or all is divine, or the universe is perfect, right, then every single thing that happens is thus perfect. It is in divine alignment and has a purpose greater than what we may be able to fathom. So this situation with my children isn't at all favorable. Isn't at all favorable right now. But it is truly fucking divine. And I know that. My spirit knows that. I know that before I became a father, I had a mission. I know that my mission in life, although since becoming a father, right, becomes taking care of my children and doing all of those things, but my mission is also separate from my children. And I know that prior to this, the start of this split and all of these complications, I wasn't fully living my mission. I mean, I was doing some things, right? We had the MoMA residency. We built the garden in Queensbridge. We did it from the ground up. We did the food distribution. I was doing it. But in the last 3 years, the things I've been able to do may not have been able to happen if not for the situation. And so it's one of those things, man. It's one of those things where you grit your fucking teeth and you bear it. You grit your teeth, you cry, and you just keep fucking going because you understand, and understand that all of this shit is part of the purpose. It's all part of the purpose. It is all part of the purpose. It is all part of a purpose. And it is beyond any of our human understanding, right? And I know that, and I teach my children that, right? Like, all the shit is divine, right? Again, not just when you find $100, not just when you get a random amount of money, not just when things work out, right, unexpectedly, not just in those times are things divine, but things are also divine when they don't work out the way you want them to. When you lose the $100, right? When you lose the money unexpectedly, like, oh my gosh, how did I lose that money? That's also part of the divinity. All this shit is cyclical, right? For you, always for you, always for your elevation, always for your divine alignment, always for your ascension, always for you, never to you. And not only for you, but for others as well, because we are all interconnected beings. We're interconnected, and we are plugged into this network, right? We're plugged into this network, this frequency, this vibration that is indeed universal, that connects all of us across time, across space. Shit don't give a fuck about what you want, what you don't want, right? I mean, you vibrate at a certain frequency, you put out energy, is an equal opposite reaction, right? But in the book that I forgot the name of it, I forgot the name of the book, but it opens up with, it said the universe don't give a fuck about you, and that's perfectly fine. And that's a fact. And so as much as we want to say, the universe loves us and God loves us, that's a human emotion. And shit don't give a fuck. Frequency, baby. Vibrate, vibration, alignment. And so, yeah, man. This is all divine. I'm grateful for the experiences. I'm grateful for the pain, because the pain is teaching me humility. It's teaching me compassion and grace and forgiveness. It's teaching me to seek grace and mercy instead of justice, forgiveness and love instead of vengeance. And it's fucking tough because of how I grew up. I grew up in the hood. Somebody do something to you, you like, fuck them, right? You hurt my children, fuck you, right? But that doesn't do anything. It may make you feel good for a moment, but it doesn't transmogrify situations. It doesn't permeate. Like, how people treat you and others is their karma. How you respond is yours. All you have control over is yourself and how you respond. You have no control over the things that happen. Even when you're a parent, you have no control over the things that the other parent does all the time, right? Like, two parents could be together and one parent could like be going through some shit and kidnap the children and take them and go far away, right? And like, you got to figure that shit out. And so, yeah, man, this is Usha's birthday, Usha Day. Happy Usha Day, right? Send my daughter some love, right? Please send her some love energetically, right? Usha Rain Marston, 9 years old, somewhere in Pennsylvania. I don't even know where the fuck they live, but somewhere in Pennsylvania. Send her some energetic love in your mind, right? You know Reiki. You don't gotta know Reiki. You just know that mentalism is real. So in your mind, I'll be posting pictures of her throughout the day, on my feeds, on my Facebook, on my Instagram. This is her as a 8-month-old little girl, right? This is us, right? This is us here. Send us some love, man. Send us some love, right? I know she is probably having a great day, because Usha is Usha, but she would have loved to have seen me, right? These last few days. Yeah, this is 2017. This first print was August 15th. This is the proof copy. Yeah, man, send my daughter some love. Send me some love. I could use it. I would have loved to have seen my children, right, this past weekend. But for the foreseeable future, there are no visits scheduled, and it makes me feel some kind of way. But here we are. And before we go, I want to just read. I want to read something. Right, I want to read a short passage. Right, short passage. One of the poems. It's all good. All right. No matter what happens, baby girl, and regardless of how it makes you feel, remember that you are God in the flesh, and the universe always bends to your will. It's all good. And I'm remembering those words that I wrote 2017, as I sit here. One more time, it's all good. No matter what happens, baby girl, and regardless of how it makes you feel, remember that you are God in the flesh, and the universe always bends to your will. It's all good, dear Usha. Listen, guys, that's our show. Right, we got a lot to do today. I'm taking my final written exam today for my brain certification course. It worked out in such a way, right? It's no fucking coincidences, all divine alignment. Finishing that shit up. I got an hour, another hour video to watch, and then I'll go over some notes. In the written exam, it's an open book exam, right? So tomorrow's my oral exam, right? Not open book. Oral, gotta just pretty much demonstrate how I will be using this knowledge, right, to help people rewire their brains, to help people become a healthier version of themselves, to go from survival brain to thriving brain, right? Brain that's focused on survival and thinks negative and has all of that shit, man, all of those conditioned freaking limiting beliefs and the projections and the ego dominating, right, persona, to one that's more focused on love and abundance and overcoming the grit brain. All right. So yeah, man, I'm super excited, super grateful. Again, send me some love. I didn't get much sleep last night. I didn't go to sleep till I'm gonna sleep about 2:30, 3 o'clock. Well, yo, listen, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Again, if you want a copy of the book, you can definitely hit me up. You should get a copy for yourself, for your friends, for your libraries, for your community. nephews, nieces, children, and all that shit. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Please do join us right back here tomorrow, same time, same place, 9 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and Instagram Live. I'm your boy, your host, LaShawn Sugar Marston. This is SR Daily, episode 505. Remember, it ain't getting knocked down. It's the problem. It's staying down. So get up! The power is in you. As always, be kind to yourself. Be kind to each other. Peace and love.